Good morning, students. How are you? Welcome back now to the next section of module nutrition biochemistry. And today you are going to study on the topic that is assessing food intake and physical activity. So let's move for the slides. Today learning objectives are just a little bit recap summary that what we have done before in previous sessions and followed by estimate basal metabolic rate and daily body requirements, what are the energy systems in our body, estimate micronutrients and food intake requirements, and identify food that enable the recommendation dietary allowances for our recommended daily intake of the nutrients that to be met. And also it will be covered in next seminar slides as well. And these all the related documents, everything are available in modules. So please have a look on module as well for your self-study and understanding. That would also cover in seminar tasks as well. In today's session, that will be your independent study. Then there will be a discussion tutorial with among your colleagues, in which you will cover complete energy, macronutrient, and food requirement calculations for yourself or a typical person, identify the rationale for accurate dietary intake and physical activity measurement, discuss the pros and cons of current dietary intake and physical activity measurement tools, and review the resources for dietary intake and physical activity information. Now let's start the topic on energy system. Before that, we will a little bit touch that what we have done, that what are the micronutrients, macronutrients are, among which in detail we did vitamins, fatty acids, iron, calcium, and reactive oxygen species, free radicals were our antioxidants. Some were the online sessions or direct on campus session, and some were self-study sessions. Now we are covering today in this session energy systems of our body. In our body, how we work, how we talk, or just doing our daily task activities, it is by some form of the energy that we are using. Like some electronic gadgets, how they are working by charging through electricity. By electricity they are working. In the same way we are working, and the energy is the one that capable us to work, and this energy comes in the form of the ATP, which is the primary source. So this energy causes us the ability to do work, the daily tasks of our life, and this energy comes from the food, the daily food that we eat, such as bread, cereals, egg. Many stuff are coming. These are our dietary sources, in which the primary, the macronutrient sources are the carbohydrates, proteins, and fats. And the source of the energy that is providing energy to do work are produced in three forms in our body. Number one, the primary source is ATP, that stands for adenosine triphosphate, or we can say it as a ATP-PC system. Then other is the lactic acid system, that is glycolytic pathway. And other is aerobic oxidative pathway, that means that it provides energy in the presence of the oxygen for the long term. So let's have a look on this video to get understand about three energy system and how and when they are utilizing, and what are their intensity and the duration to give energy. So have a look to understand along with visual effects. I hope you better understand now what are the three energy systems and how and when they are working. Now here is just a review that this is example. Now you can explain that 100-meter running a person, so which energy that person is using or utilizing to run for 100 meters. It is 95% by ATP, and this is by the system of phosphagen, that's PC, ATP PC system. Then second, if a person is running for 1,500 meters or doing weightlifting, so what the main energy he's consuming, he's consuming from the lactic acid, or we can say glycolytic system. Then third, the marathon, the long run. So more than 1,500 in million or a marathon, or just like a swimming, if a person is running on marathon or doing swimming for the long, so from where the person is consuming energy from the oxidative source, and which is coming from electron transport chain, citric acid cycle, and oxidative system, that also called as the Krebs cycle. These are actually the process in which the energy is producing in our body to perform the task, to perform the work. Either if you want to see, they have a lot of detail and a detailed cycle of the citric acid, Krebs cycle, and electron transport channel that's performed by the mitochondria. Now, next is energy requirements. So what are the daily energy requirements for our body? We will discuss in other slides for this, but we have to know in which unit we are calculating our energies, that are in the form of kilocalories or in the form of kilojoules. So these both units are used to calculate, to evaluate, or estimate our energy. And make sure that 1 kilocalorie is equals to 4 kilojoules. They both are not equal. So whenever you are calculating any energy requirement or from a food source, so while calculating, make sure either you are calculating in kilocalories or in kilojoules, because they both are not same. 1 kilocalorie is equals to 4 kilojoules. However, all nutrients do not supply the same amount of energy. Carbohydrates gives another amount of energy, while proteins and fat in other amount of energy that I will show you in other slides. But in the total, what are the daily energy requirements of a human being according to the Department of Health UK? For the male, it is requirement of 2,550 kilocalories, and for female, it is 1,940 kilocalories. And now I hope now you can convert these kilocalories into kilojoules as well. These are different, not same. Now let's go to macronutrients topic. Do you remember we discussed about the micronutrients and macronutrients? Is there any difference? Yes, there is difference. What the major difference? Macronutrients are the source of the nutrients that we take from our diet and help in burning our energy, to give us energy, and thus we require more to eat rather than the micronutrients. And the examples, the sources, what these macronutrients actually are, that are protein, carbohydrates, and fats. But now, what are then micronutrients? Can you name this? Yeah. These are, for example, vitamins, irons, minerals, calcium. These are the amounts that are also required to our body, but in less amount, not like macronutrients. They perform our daily functioning tasks inside our body for functioning and supporting the metabolism, and like this, and immunity as well. Now the sources, from which sources we are getting these carbohydrates, proteins, and fat? We are getting carbohydrates from our daily routine diet, like bread, cereals, corns, oats, pasta, rice, potatoes. And proteins, for example, from meat, egg white, fish, beef, red meat, and yogurt. Yogurt is a good source. It has a lot of minerals and proteins, carbs, fats, vitamins as well. And the fat sources are coming from butter, avocado, oil sources like coconut oil, canola oil, flax seeds, olives, olive oil. Why we are studying these macronutrients? So that we can also estimate and calculate their specific estimation that how much they are required to intake, and from our daily energy source, how we are doing. And at the end of this session, you must be able to know and able to calculate from the energy source or a diet you are eating, how much the carbohydrates you are getting from that nutrition source, or the amount of protein or fats. And how much the carbohydrates give us energy? It contains 4 kilocalories per gram. So keep in mind while calculating. However, you would calculate in terms of the monosaccharides, and according to the UK guidelines, so you have to put as 3.7 kilocalories per gram, not 4 kilocalories, according to monosaccharides and calculations. While the proteins also contain the same kilocalories, that is 4 kilocalorie per gram, while fats give more energy, that is 9 kilocalorie per grams. The daily normal average macronutrient energy distribution for a human body, according to a UK study, it is reported that a normal human being have the daily requirement to intake carbohydrates, that is 40 to 50%, while fat should be 30 to 35%, and proteins, they should be intake of 20%, 15 to 20%. And these are for non-sports and non-athlete persons, these requirements. Now it's a recap that, do you know how the energy can be calculated and how it can be measured? By in means of kilocalories or kilojoules, where 1 kilocalorie is equals to 4.2 kilojoules. And all these nutrients supply different amounts of energy, not the same. And the requirement of the male of energy per day is 2,550, while for female it is 1,940. And it is estimated by and reported by the Department of Health UK in 19th century. Here is an exercise that what are actually these specific macronutrients requirement of the energy that we want for our daily life. For proteins, it would be 17 kilojoules grams, for fat 37, and carbohydrates in monosaccharides 17, and overall carbohydrates 16, and alcohol 29 kilojoules per gram. While if we ask in terms of the kilocalories, it is different. For proteins, it is 4 kilocalorie per gram. For fat, it's 9 kilocalorie per gram. And for carbohydrates, it should be 3.75 kilocalorie per gram. And this unit and this figure you have to do and practice for your calculations. Now let's go for the summary. Now you have the knowledge and able to explain what are the energy systems of our body. These are 3: ATP, glycolic, and oxidative. Then what are our daily energy requirements are, what are the macronutrients, and now you are able to explain what are the major sources of these macronutrients are, and how much the daily requirements we have of these macronutrients. And now you can able to calculate these macronutrients as well from a specific energy or the diet source, and can explain the macronutrients energy distribution as well. So thank you. Any questions?